next ban is on the side of Rox, whether we're focusing that bottom lane or whether the mid lane will be a target, which I actually feel like it will be.
What I want to be a target is Vladimir from the side of Afreeca Freecs, because Linderong has been super on point with that pick, and even though there are champions that can do competitive, no one's really slamming the Vladimir.
Yeah, we're having this discussion, like trying to work out who's really going to be able to punish that pick, and there aren't too many things that come to mind.
You can go ultra solo queue with something like a Riven, but even then it's some degree a matchup that can be very heavily tilted by the jungle gank, and even the Gnar matchup that I think is a winning matchup for Gnar, we've seen go the other way with Linderong involved in recent history, so maybe just don't want to deal with the hyper-scaling GP10 focused Vladimir and just ban him away if you're Afreeca. Also, I like the respect ban from Rox against Kuro because his was one of the better Zoes we've seen, but probably saved the best for most recent in Edge, who was a superstar in our first series of the night.
Of course, Edge, formerly LeBlanc one trick, basically, so it feels very similar, utilizing the distortion in a similar way with the portal jump. Just do a heck of a lot more burst damage.
Rox seemed to be looking for a Galio or a Vladimir first pick with bans like the Gnar here, so already looking very, very safe for something like the Vlad, and it is a flex pick. They have the resident Vlad mid laner in Kuzan on the bench, but I'm sure Lava can roll into it as well.
Yeah, final ban here for Rox, and do they ban one of the 80 carries perhaps? Do they try and stop Kramer from getting his hands on anything? I'm not sure whether they're too worried about that, but Kramer does have a very dangerous hyper carry, and no, they're going to stay towards the top side. Keen getting pinched a little bit means that Vladimir's stock goes way up, Papa Smithy, like you were mentioning.
Still going to be a lot of power here, and now it feels like, to me, Galio or Vladimir. But Vladimir first pick is something we haven't seen yet in LCK Spring 2018.
And if you look at the possible Vladimir first pick, then Afreeca are set up to do exactly what was done to KSV in our previous series. The Jarvan and the Galio will be there if they wanted to pick that one up for themselves. Kuro's certainly a notable Galio player, and Spirit can play everything. Hasn't really found much success on standard junglers so far.
With their choices, it seems like the threat, like you say, of two complete picks answering something like a Vladimir and speeding up the game has led to the Galio first pick. Lava has shown us the most performances on the Galio and was the first to bring out the Proto Belt DPS build that I got very excited about.
Yeah.
Smart lock in there, and it's also a takeaway from Kuro, who's another resident Galio player. Does this mean that we just see Vladimir heavily taken here? There is also another compositionally strong mid laner in Rise that can be taken by Kuro.
Yeah, Rise and Kog'Maw feels like a decent round as well if you were going to prioritize getting Kramer on something that he has found a lot of success on. Still some junglers, but Ezreal being looked back to here by Kramer. Hasn't found success on it, but still certainly an incredibly powerful pick. And prioritizing Kramer makes sense, but Rox, if they just lock in Jarvan and Vladimir, or even Kog'Maw, I guess this is Songyun that we're talking about.
You can just think about how earlier Galio just went. If you think about Galio coming back in summer, it was the LPL with Jarvan, Galio, and Kog'Maw becoming very, very common. So I'm sure they were watching the earlier series. They're very tempted by both the Kha'Zix for the invade, but the Jarvan composition. Now they do have the bouncy castle started.
They also have an incredible Protect the Kog'Maw comp, so I'm really glad that you brought that one up. So the Kog'Maw certainly could be locked in here as well, sacrificing the Vladimir potentially.
One or the other seems to be the thought here, and because it's Keen, maybe you keep the respect up and just take the Kog'Maw now and see where the Vladimir lies later in the draft. But they're not going to go for either. Okay. They want a bit more presence. They want to be able to stand up and really take advantage of a one-item power spike. Pretty surprising, given that Songyun has tried his hand at Varus 3 times to 3 defeats so far this season. So while for the composition, it's a good pick, for him in particular, and because they had other options with the Galio and Jarvan already locked in, a bit surprised by the Varus.
Well, not surprised by a Braum here. He's going to be locked in eventually. First ban to come in now for the Afreeca Freecs, but setting up the bot lane to something that we've seen a hell of a lot. In fact, Afreeca's composition could be pretty much anything with the 3 picks that they've already got, so jungler and top laner will really round this one out.
No one gets any top laners apparently after the ban phase. We had a lot of them going to be taken away. Gnar, Gangplank, Camille now all accounted for.
I feel like Vladimir needs to go on the ban list here if you're the Rox Tigers, though. They don't really want to have to run into one of those guys when they can't try and sit alongside and scale on the Gangplank or just outright beat it in lane as the Gnar. A lot of scary things. Spirit going to get a lot of respect for his 0% win rate 3 times played Kha'Zix, but has certainly found success in the past and is a bit of a menace.
And what about the Nidalee in a draft like this?
Yeah?
Getting scrappy against a team that goes for wombo combo can be very, very strong. We saw exactly what we saw from the side of Kingzone Dragon X yesterday against SK Telecom T1, just scrapping everywhere with Fioras abound.
Okay, it is going to be the Tarek band away. Tom Kench looking like a possible pickup here for the Rox Tigers if they do want to head towards that option. Does make sense when you've got something relatively immobile like Avaris.
Disrupting the early game is what you'd imagine Afreeca would put together with their last couple of picks to stop it being the inevitable knock-up trio. And there is the ban. I love the ban on Nidalee. Okay,
yeah.
So that's one of the few ways you could really cause pandemonium. Nidalee invading and then some sort of top lane carry also going for arms. And remember, because they have Galio, you can get a bit more risky with your top lane pick and try to trade up and snowball yourself.
Okay, 7th unique jungler if Spirit is going to lock away the Jax. Can keep it as a flex pick as well for Keen, who's known to play almost anything that can smack on his opponent on the top side of the map.
He's played top lane Jax already in competitive play, so like you say, flex pick, but heavily expecting to be the jungle Jax. 100% win rate so far. Feels a bit facetious because it hasn't been popping off in the early game. It's been ultra late game, 6-item Jax doing his thing and denying carries. But we can't be surprised if Vladimir Alistair's locked in here.
Yeah.
Got a pretty fearsome draft on blue side.
It's an extraordinary draft. It's exactly what you'd want. And once again, we're going to head towards the bouncy castle. I mean, if you guys had your memes prepared for the Kongdu game, you can just get them right back out. Those ones are going to be paying dividends for you today. That's an interesting support pick.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was like trying to work out, wait, Gallia's going bot. What's happening here?
What is this, Martyr in the Demacia Cup? Like, what's happening? 0 seconds to go. Okay, Key is going to lock that one away. First time Key has actually played the Alistair so far this split. Will it be his 7th unique champion as well? Playing around on different picks this year.
Will also be a mind game, Atlas, because they're saying, hey, Jace wouldn't be bad here. That's why they put it, because Jace into Vladimir is a possible lane. You can't all in the Vlad. You can keep him in low health early. Early laning phase, free cooldown reduction. Not bad at all.
This would be interesting.
Okay.
We're going to get another top lane rise, Papa Smithy.
Top lane rise against Vladimir. Very
or jungle rise.
No, not jungle rise. Top lane rise. Second time we're seeing a top lane rise after it was attempted by Roach of Kongnu Monster and didn't look great.
Nope.
Double AP in many ways here between the two. Corki always straddling the line. Very
Ezreal
heavy.
as well.
Yeah, sure. Very heavy magic damage game in general. Not a lot of physical damage dealers in the.
As you can see, a lot of Afreeca fans here, and you can understand it. Kramer's already taken half the health off Sangyu.
He'll have to go for a health tribute after a match. It's early enough that it's not going to be punished by minions in the lane or anything like that. So we'll recall. Does give up bot lane control. A lot of Afreeca fans every time they play because of a lot of personal brands that have been collated in what is a pretty star-studded team.
Yep, Kuro and Spirit certainly having fans for years on this side. I feel like Keen's made a lot of fans as well after his debut. Certainly was an exciting player to watch. Made a fan in me, Pop Smithy.
And Kramer been around a while as well.
Oh, yes, of course. And also had an incredible split last split.
And look at how close and how kind of competitive this rivalry has been. Only a single game separating Afreeca and the Rox Tigers. And that's with the Rox, you know, having an indifferent year in 2017. Shows that even when their fortunes were lower, it wasn't like Afreeca rolled them over.
Yep, interesting wrap to start here for Song 1.
Super leash, baby.
Yeah. It's what happens when you got the Winds of War. Help you out. Kramer and Tucson going to make their way down, though, and his lanes are going to meet. Good first cue from Kramer. Always makes you feel good. I love the Relic Shield meta, where it's just pa-chow, 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 every single minion. Beautiful. It's almost like a mismatch here in the mid lane, Pub Smithy. Feel like it should be the other way around. Feel like Lava should be on the Corki. Of course, his pick this season. And Kuro could certainly be the one role-playing on the tank.
It's one of those things where you got to say the off-season's been really impressively utilized by Lava because he came in with not a lot of experience in the role. Taehoon, his real last name. His real first name was his name on SK Telecom T1 when actually Afreeca's AD carry sub, Aiming, was his lane partner. So when they were underage, couldn't actually be on the official roster for SKT. They were spotted in a lot of house photos. People wondered, who are these players? And now both of them are in the squads in competitive. Not for SK Telecom T1, but still around. So role swap to mid. Indifferent, you know, kind of played the support mids in 2017. But now playing for himself, really things have gotten better.
Well, Tucson going to get bonked back. Does manage to get the proc. This is what Ignar had a bit of an issue with last night, going in and getting himself killed for first blood. Rock's unable to capitalize at level 2. But it always gets a little bit worrying when the Demolish proc is prioritized that hard.
I got good news, Atlas.
What's the good news, Papa?
We have Quadra Unsealed Spellbook on the Rocks Tigers.
Oh, baby.
So you know how it was pretty clear who was teleporting in our previous series?
Yep.
If Jarvan EQ's in, there could be Quadra Teleport on his flag.
Oh, God. Oh, no, what is happening? We've actually got Inspiration times 10.
You remember when there was the famous game...
Oh, no, we haven't. Dang it, Spirit. Ruined it.
There was a famous game in NA where in the playoffs, Team Liquid lost when Piglet misjudged a teleport and there was 2 people coming on the ward.
Yeah.
I wonder what it looks like when 4 people teleport on the ward. Maybe we'll find out.
I'm not ready for it. I told you about this in our last series. I mean, my brain's just... It doesn't want to have to compute the possibilities of 1 million people coming out.
I got good news. Side of Afreeca forgot all their spell books. There's none of them there. So it's going to be interesting stuff. It's actually for lane control gone Comet. First Comet we've seen in a long time because that rune has been taken out. But looking for winning trades against Linderung, who's gone very respectful. Thought it would be Ignite for a potential turret dive. Ryze in top lane was always one of the prime people to turret dive. Spent his first shop on a tier and no combat stats. But in this case, going to be just the heal. Thinking that we're going to see some Jax action on the top side.
I actually really like heal on Vladimir especially, just because you can pull heal and you get the movement speed and feel fantastic being untargetable. So don't mind the option. Kuro's in a little bit of trouble here as Lava goes aggressive. Actually gets the flash. There's the knock-up, and Kuro explodes. First blood for Rocks. 5 minutes into the game, and that was as easy as you like.
Yeah, the Jax was in the area, so Kuro's like, I don't know what's going on with this W. Not expecting the all-in, but just the right amount of damage as well. Kuro had started the teleport with the play footwork for lane secure, but that was just damage calculation to perfection by the side of Rocks Tigers, and there's the first blood.
Yep, Lava just flashes, knows exactly what can happen, and nowhere for Kuro to go. He could have had cleanse, he could have had a QSS, and still he would have been pretty much dead.
Would have lived with heal. Heal flash would have got him out there, but man, really impressive stuff by Rocks Tigers. Heads up stuff. Wasn't double electrocute either. That was the electrocute Galio in our first series. It is Unsealed Spellbook, as I mentioned. So yeah, damage calculation on point.
Yeah, really nice. And I actually told a lie. If he had a QSS, he could have QSS flash. But of course, it is the very early game, so that's not going to happen.
I'm just happy we're not being facetious here, Atlas.
Yeah.
We try and tell the truth.
I'm scared of using absolutes now, Papa Smithy. Really scared, because Kongdu just beat KSV, and now no one really knows what they can actually afford to say. Here at the LCK, make things extraordinarily exciting, but...
Or we could just make measured predictions we believe in, get them wrong, and try and understand why while people laugh at us. That's fine, too.
I think that sounds like way more fun. In fact, that sounds like my career. Okay. Spirit moves up, notices that he doesn't have any more camps to take. We'll see whether he actually decides to go for some sort of gank here on the top side of the map or not, but these Winds of War are actually starting to get some work done. You can see Hextech Revolver picked up as item number 1. If Lava gets a passive proc on top of Kuro, that is so much damage.
We are proto-belting this game.
Yeah.
So proto-belt into Leandri's into Void Staff was his build. Game 3 of his first series playing this mid lane Galio against BBQ. It was really cool to see. Haven't seen anyone else try the proto-belt. W has the property, his AoE taunt, of being uninterruptible. So the interaction between proto-belt and the W is always really fun to track. Can use it second and then just guarantee the damage because they're taunted and moving towards you.
Yep. Also, the Justice Punch proto-belt means that you cover a lot of distance as well.
Oh, yeah.
You can get yourself into a backline if the Justice Punch is able to make full distance. So
not usually that smooth, though, because proto-belt always has that small lockout effect. So
that's why I don't build it, to be honest.
That's fair.
It's frustrating.
But It's cool to see it experimented with, and we'll learn more about the limits of Protobot Galio, hopefully, throughout the course of this game.
Yep, Kuro grabs himself a blue buff though, so Spirit's going to hand that one over. He's been a little bit quiet here from the jungle, but Jax does like to do that. Get his farm on, smack up some minions a little bit. Songwan also, notably after that first blood, just been going back to the farm. So blue will be shoved over to lava, and speaking of shoving, Linderung also doing a bunch of work on the top side, shoving that way forward. Spectre's Cowl is going to be his first option, so
respectful.
Yeah, much more tanky decision. Understanding that Keen, with his Comet, going for a little bit more of a aggressive maneuver.
I wonder if he'll still go into the Frost Queen's claim, because the quest is so powerful on Vladimir that missing out on the pseudo-ghost effect would be a pretty big cost. Could just take Ghost himself, but then loses out on the flexibility of having teleport, so something to track this game. Spectre's Cowl and opting into more aggressive trades is still pretty good, though, I think, on the side of Linderung. Pretty heads up on a matchup that we certainly don't see at the competitive level very often.
No, I mean, we've seen both sides of this, given the fact that Roach has played us some Rise on the top side of the map. I believe we saw it one other time as well. I could be mistaken. Kramer and Tucson getting this huge wave shoved towards the Rock's bottom lane. Okay, there's the Flash Pulverize coming out. Chains of Corruption comes in as well. Teleports from both sides. It's Sangyun very low. Has to respect the package, which is going to come out. Kuro gets the knockbacks. Tucson going to go very, very low. Gets himself out of there. Cataclysm comes in. Lava right at the last second. Gets the stopwatch in, and no one's died yet. Kuro finds the auto attack, though. And that is going to be the cow getting taken down. 1 for 1 now. It's 1 kill goes towards the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, a bit of an over pursuit there from the side of Rocks. They do have what we have dubbed the bouncy castle. They do have huge teamfight wombo, but it was all very telegraphed. And note that Afreeca Freecs does not have an immobile comp. We see them pushing up here. Spirit and Kuro trying to get a lot of turret damage in. Afreeca have Corki, Ezreal, and Jax, all of which in a teamfight have an escape ability, especially if a ward is available for the Jax or a minion to taxi on there. Braum as well. And Rise at some point will have a Zhonya's, already has a stopwatch. So actually getting all the layering of CC is not as trivial, and this is also a multi-step initiation with the Galio out of range at the start.
Yeah, Lava comes in, immediately gets exhausted though, so not a lot of that damage was able to come through. And the package, just fighting against a teleport Corki with package available, it's terrifying.
Just enough damage to take down Key without having to use any more there from the side of Kuro. Still going to be a trade up from the side of the Afreeca Freecs.
Not a lot of turret damage, so Rock's probably happy just to go back to laning. You can see everything very even across the board, in fact. Kane will be able to get the advantage here, but we were expecting something like that out of the Rise, but otherwise everywhere, neck and neck.
Linderung will be dissuaded from GP10. Goes for the Haunting guys for more of a lane presence. So I imagine he's going to be kind of bound to picking up Ghost more often this game. You could argue maybe he has enough CC on his team that Ghost is not necessary and Flash will be enough to get him into backline, but you want Secure for that, so Protobelt, is that enough? Swapping to Ghost, does that shut down some of their macro decisions? Just extra wrinkles that we haven't had to talk about because every other Vladimir has gone for the quest and the ability to upgrade the AP support line into the 50% MS on spell hit.
Yeah, and you talk about this like it's a decision that he made, but do you think that is a mistake? Because the Frost Queen's claim is so incredibly strong. We were asking whether Vladimir would even be as viable in the top lane without it after 8.2.
It's an item that everyone rushes, but I think rushing here there is actually room for Keen to chase you down and kill you. So the Spectre's Cowl I think makes sense. The second item, it's very difficult actually to gauge whether you have the ability to go for GP10 in that spot. You wouldn't be able to compete it on the gold. You got a lot of power in a single buy, putting up the Haunting guys. So I don't really have a yes-no answer for you. My first impression is he's going to have to be more creative in fights than even his most recent performance where he carried on the Vladimir, but I'm looking for information. There's not many data points to talk about with that particular scenario, so we're learning as we go here, Atlas.
Yeah, there's a lot of that today. I appreciate you helping me out. I personally don't like the idea of Vlad not having, at least 10% CDR at this stage of the game. Does have 5 points in that transfusion, though. Crimson Rush is going to start doing some damage as well, given the early game nature of the Haunting guys.
Kane is able to itemize very nicely to deal both with this item and Vladimir in general. Can go for early magic resist and lose nothing as I think it's gank time.
Yep, Emo play goes down as Kane is going to get knocked up, interrupted on the Realm Warp. And Linderung just hops into a pool and is going to be able to pick up the kill. Cataclysm secures it. The Rocks Tigers, this is the start of the Vladimir onslaught.
And stop the stopwatch as well. Surely he could have used the stopwatch earlier. Couldn't really tell. We'll have to have a replay to guarantee it. But dies with stopwatch available. Interrupt on the Realm Warp. Spirit will try to punish on the bot side, but even Jax will take his time dealing with an Ocean Drake. Keen is being denied a turret to return to, or Linderung's going to get a massive buy here, taking an extra minion wave. A lot changes, and if he had gone for GP10, very unlikely that gank would have worked out.
That's so weird that the stopwatch wasn't used. I mean, that was the classic, this is going to be the Realm Walk stopwatch situation. Songwon incredibly intelligently didn't use his flag and drag until something like that did happen, but it's not going to stop him if he's just a golden boy. Like, very perplexing, but that's okay. Flash now down on both jungle and top lane though, so if Spirit wants to make some sort of entrance towards the top side of the map, Kane does have Flash up, so can get the Flash Rune Prison down.
He can do a lot of playmaking. He has Flash up, he has completed Abyssal Mask. He's still powerful,
yeah,
in spite of dying, but like you say, surely there should have been a free escape there somewhere.
Yeah, what? Is it worth dying for? I guess that is a question of the ages.
That is a League of Legends question as well.
Yeah.
Is it worth dying for this turret staying up?
Mm-hmm.
Another question that Sang-Yoon is considering. Galio, for now, being very well held in the mid lane.
Well, there's a Chains of Corruption. Key's going to be able to get in there. Oh, nice sidestep on the Glacial Fissure. But a lot of damage being taken. Unbreakable Will is available. Key just held onto it. A lot of buttons not being pressed when I feel like they can be, but of course he's alive, so absolutely fine, just holding off.
Ever since the botched teleport down bot lane, you notice that Lava's been kept very accountable. Doesn't have a blue buff, doesn't have control ward vision on either side. This global champion's being dictated to and can't visit other lanes with any freedom because he will be spotted going top side or bot side. So really good job by Afreeca to deny a lot of the threat of Galio. It's not in his own lane, it's in his side lanes. So infrequently will you see a team against a Galio actually take a turret lead against a team that could be fielding Quadra Teleport. Losing a turret versus almost unheard of, but it does happen in game one.
Well, 15 minutes, and I feel like if Kramer does go back to base, that will be Manamune completed. For potential trouble here against Lava, but with Kramer getting full gold from the first turret blood, I feel like we know exactly where Afreeca are putting their eggs. Once again, it's Kramer that's going to have to carry this team. In summer, last year, certainly was a good bet. This time around, Kramer hasn't been able to be that force in the late game that we've witnessed time and time again, but not necessarily based on his play. We'll see whether this game's going to be a better story for the AD carry that showed so much promise.
I mean, he's one item away from answering basically everything Rocks can do. He really needs to play the Ruin King here to put a dent on what is going to be a very health-stacking team on the side of Rocks Tigers. Even Varus has high base stats for an AD carry, and everyone else is going to be loading up on health. So it does feel, like you say, Kramer is in a great position to turn around these fights and already has his control trio completed early in the game.
And that was going back with, like, what? Lucidity Boots, Sheen Tier, and then turns that into Iceborne Gauntlet and Manamune. That feels fantastic as a back timing at 15 minutes into the game. Trinity Force done. You know that I like to talk about item spikes. Kuro certainly hitting his first one. You mentioned Keen already grabbing his. If there are any fights that are going to break out, feels like a decent time. Even the Phage on Spirit feels like a good option.
Already, because they lost turret first, Galio's the one that has to pick up the minion wave bot side. Now no longer is the Hero's Entrance a global threat, and we've already seen that teleport into Hero's Entrance firstly wasn't used the first time, and even if it is going to be used, takes a long damn time to channel.
Yep.
Battle will rage in multiple parts of the map, but he doesn't have the ability to respond to multiple threats. So, for now at least, lane assignment is great for Afreeca. Taking a turret against an early game comp like this, great for Afreeca. We did not see this level of early game against a similar comp by KSV in game one, but with different tools and with a more respectful draft. I really like that Afreeca has teamfight mobility, have mapped around the wombo combo for Rocks. But they're going to try a wombo combo anyway.
Well, Lava is just going to make sure that there's no Corki. in this lane. They want to try and get some damage onto this turret, but the Afreeca Freecs, they see what's happening. Move straight towards the bottom side, realize that they're not going to be able to get anything done. And Army is moved back off the front line. It's getting scary. You can see how keen Afreeca are to start a fight. They're scared of the team fight possibilities in the late game from Rocks. And they sensed weakness. They do have a 3,000 gold lead. This is the Afreeca Freecs looking for blood. As Lava, not going to be discovered on the bottom side. Special Agent Vladimir. Linderung still not having the greatest time in this lane as the Vlad. Kane's just pretty good at throwing out heaps and heaps of spells.
And consistent damage is one of the things Vladimir doesn't deal with. Poke trades, absolutely, but someone who can machine gun the Q's off cooldown won't do enough healing to fully sustain him through. And a ranged laner also, after dominating a lot of melee matchups, is a bit tricky for the Vladimir.
Yep. Well, Tucson has started the Rift Herald. I was going to ask you about this one, Pop Smithy. It looks like Afreeca will be able to utilize all of the vision that they have around the area. They'll drop in control wards left, right, and center. It seemed to be focus of Rocks was keeping bottom lane secure, whereas on the side of Afreeca, it has been this top side. So are able to reap the rewards, and Keen, with all of the space that he's afforded with the vision control that they do have, will be able to just take down this outer turret on the top side of the map, only further extending the lead that the Afreeca Freecs have.
It's a great, great early game. And I love that it is as a counterpoint to a more ordinary early game against the same comp, you know, against the same bounty castle, knock up, wombo combo. I love seeing teams find new ways to try to find ways to take them down. The Nidalee draft worked for King Zone. Here we're seeing Afreeca play the map very smartly, rotate around, and Rocks make one mistake, and it's the same snowball we've seen in so many other games. Rocks trying to take an Infernal against the run of play, but even with their teleports, there's no guarantee they win a 5v5.
Another package here as well for Kuro. This could be really dangerous times. They know exactly what's up as the Afreeca Freecs. They're all here. They're all ready to go. Package does come in. We've got the Dragon secured by Afreeca at the same time. Kramer grabs that as in goes Linderung. Massive Hero's entrance on top of him as well as he picks up the kill under Spirit for his first. It is going to be Kramer falling down. A lot of the consistent damage not there. Tucson flashed on. Winds of War are going to take him. And that's Lava picking up the double in this fight. No Dragon going over to Rocks, but they're able to win the team fight.
Yeah, really deep vision there. Ward on the walls actually gave Linderung access to the backline. Didn't have the quest, didn't have Ghost, didn't matter. Nice wombo combo for them. It doesn't wipe out everyone from Afreeca. Kuro and Keen are still healthy, but that is what you draft a wombo combo for, and wombo we got.
Yeah, let's have a look at it again. Wasn't exactly the bouncy castle we were looking for, and Afreeca Freecs started off nicely.
Vlad is still incoming at this point. First we see the Glacial Fissure. Linderung gets into the back line. Doesn't hit everyone with the Hema Blade, but certainly hits enough. So much AoE damage they can chase down from here, but they don't finish Keen. They don't finish Kuro. They can't compound this, and it was the Drake stolen away by Spirit. So definitely not all good news stories for Rocks.
Well, Lava's going to teleport. Valkyrie, is it enough?
Yes,
it is. Trinity Force proc's going to do it. I feel like
it was a Trinity Force crit, actually, so
oh, God.
I'm sure you feel a bit salty if you're Lava.
I don't know, I feel like he decided not to even walk. So that means that there's a lot missing in terms of wave clear as this Rift Herald is knocking down the front door of the Rocks Tigers. A second slam with decently high health. Gets rid of a third of the health bar of this inner turret. Afreeca Freecs 21 minutes into the game. They've got so much pressure everywhere.
And they innately play multiple lanes way better than their opposition. They have double AD carry. They have a Jax who's going for phase.
Their jungler is an amazing split pusher.
Yeah, they're 3 split pushers, as you say, including the jungler. Their top laner can help taxi them between lanes. If the wombo can't reliably happen, Rocks lose. That's what happens with a wombo comp, is they usually have one trick, and if the trick fails, they kind of wait for their cooldowns and hope you do nothing on the map. Afreeca are doing everything right across the map, and we said, how will they look after the Heartbreaker? It was a few days ago against KSV. They look reinvigorated. They look sharp.
This is one of my favorite 1-3-1 comps, Papa Smithy, because you can, with this one, put the Rise with the 3 in the mid lane, and you can back up your bottom lane with 4 people anytime you want. It's actually really exciting being able to realm walk from, you know, your main group of champions.
With a sample size of 1, maybe we found a kind of a homebrew answer to the Vladimir dominance in the top side. Now, Ryze is often banned just for his mid lane prowess, so I'm not sure that Ryze is going to be the
Yeah.
long-standing answer, but in a sample size of 1, the Ryze flex pick is back suddenly.
Feels nice. Spirit Visage now completed for Linderung, though, so he's going to be having a better time against Keen, and the transfusion's going to be giving him a bit more back. I feel like we've learned a lot of really exciting things about the potential of this meta, Pop Smithy, and that wasn't a story that we've been talking about a lot this week. It's been a lot about staleness and slowness and things like that, and a lot of creativity on what is one of the final days of this really long week of LCK.
That's one of my favorite things about League of Legends is there's never solved. You know, there still is always something that people are thinking about but too scared to try until someone gives it a go. And bringing back Galio, so the first of those things is, I think this is going to be a wombo combo.
Here we are. There's a bit of a bounce castle coming in, but the Realm Walk, it's there. You can't stop him when he's got the stopwatch. They're going to continue it. Yeah, 2-man Hemo Plague. As Lava wants to find another taunt. Winds of War doing a decent amount of work, but the Galio will fall down. Chains of Corruption do basically nothing, and Key now in the wrong place at the wrong time. 2 kills for the Afreeca Freecs, and that seems to be the answer. The Wombo comes in, you just leave.
And who's a genius for holding onto their stopwatch, Atlas? It's Key.
There he is.
Had it just for that moment. Free Baron also going to come through. The Wombo was enacted on the rise. Could not deal with him. Baron is confirmed, and Rocks Tigers, I think they're almost done in this game. The kill score looks good for them, but picture-perfect ultimates being layered. It's a Spirit Visage Vladimir, not a Needle/Rod or any sort of Void stuff. The Zonias will come through to allow this to happen again and again by Keen. The damage isn't there, even when the Wombo does hit, and that just means you lose if you're Rocks Tigers.
Yep, all the space is bought. Kuro comes in and says, I got heaps of damage, guys. Power Spike number 2, I think, hit, and then Key, absolutely nowhere to go. The Afreeca Freecs, this is just vintage Afreeca in game 1, you know, just utter dominance. We'll have the opportunity to grab that blue side as well for game number 2, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be trying to dictate what kind of meta we're going to be playing in, because it was largely about Rocks being able to freely gather this Wombo combo composition, and then Afreeca answering in probably the best way that we've seen thus far.
And with such a catchy song, you look at their comp and you just keep nodding your head and be like, yeah, that's smart, and this is smart, and that was a good move. Like, it's one of those things where I keep bobbing my head at the layers to which the comp works, especially against a Wombo comp, which is exactly what Rocks Tigers and a lot of teams with Galio coming back into the meta have been favoring. So for them to have this answer and for it to be executed so well, you know, they've died 5 times, but that hasn't been in any way relevant to the gold lead now extending to 8,500, 9,000 after the turret. They're able to play the 3 lanes so well, that just spreads Rocks too thin. They don't have enough gold to play 3 lanes and also have anything resembling a Wombo. Great stuff from Afreeca.
And then they're also playing out this 1-3-1 absolutely fantastically well. Of course, Baron buff helping out and is one of those things that they're capable of doing, but you can see Spirit now going to move back into the mid lane, shove that one forward. We've got empowered backs coming in, not going to break the base just yet, but you can see how Rocks basically don't have any good options at this point. And it's exactly what a 1-3-1 comp is supposed to do. It's supposed to say, well, there's actually nothing that you can do, and we're going to take whatever we want, we're going to suffocate you out of your own jungle. And it's only when they go back to finish off what is a cavalcade of items. Look at Keen, picks up his Zhonya's already with his Seraph's Embrace. Double Trinity Forces coming in. You mentioned the Blade of the Ruin King. That one's done. So many options now for the Afreeca Freecs with a huge 10,000 gold lead at 26 minutes.
And amazing that the biggest gold lead is between the junglers. While we've seen Sungwon try to enact bouncy castles in top, mid, and bot, Spirit just killed every minion and monster on the damn rift. He's up so much. He's up almost 20 camps.
And almost more than Keen. He's almost got more money than Keen right now.
Remember,
Jax is a top laner.
Remember now, any camp counts as 4 monsters or 4 minion score. So he's got a lot. He's got some lane minions as well to mention, but this Jax is super fed. You can go Trinity Force from the jungle, apparently, if you can almost hit 10 CS a minute as Jax jungle.
It's like he's probably earning as much money as a top laner anyway, so you just may as well go Trinity Force, build him the same way. Don't know why I didn't go third item, like a Blade of the Ruin King or something like that, and just like...
Where's my Rage Blade at, Atlas?
Yeah, exactly! Hextech Gunblade. Oh, I think I'm going back in time a little bit too far, but... Rocks Tigers, they want to try and get another one of their Wombo combos working. If they can do it away from Keen, that's probably the best way to make it work, but the answer's here for the Afreeca Freecs, and that is having way too much vision for Rocks to ever really be able to get themselves into a surprise attack position.
But it's it's not a wombo combo really when it's Spirit Visage Zonia's Vlad, when it's full tank on the Jarvan, a bit of AP on the Galio, but let's be real, it's not going to be explosive damage, and eventually Songyun will do damage from the backside, but it is not an explosion here we would expect.
Yep, and there's the disengage from the Afreeca Freecs. Counter-Strike, pretty damn good when it comes to that. Third power spike has been locked down for Kuro.
I mean, if game 1 of KSV versus Kongnu Monster was 5 sumo wrestlers jumping onto the enemy, here we've definitely got 5 kittens jumping onto the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kitten party.
It's adorable, but it doesn't kill anyone.
No. And when killing everyone is what you're trying to do, that's a problem. We're not endorsing that. I actually feel like if I was to be in one of those parties, I'd opt for the kittens.
I'll remember that. Kitten party for you, Atlas.
Yes! Not going to get a lot of sumo wrestlers landing on top of me. I could imagine you were just ready to throw that one. I mean, my birthday's coming up in a couple of months. Escaped the sumo party.
Well, just waiting for Afreeca to dot the I's and cross the T's here. They're in a great spot. Ending in the game does require them to go to terrain that favors wombos, and even if you're confident in your item lead, you never necessarily want to opt into a bounce party or a knockup party. So
yeah,
for
and
now,
also,
at least.
Yeah, they have kind of given up a little bit as far as getting all of that vision control that they had earlier on. They haven't been keeping up, sweeping everything out. Kuro does get himself back here as Keen and Linderung. We think we know who wins that particular battle at the moment.
The next plan for the side of Afreeca is claim Baron and try to close the game. They've got 2 Infernal Drakes for the very late spawning Elder. We are only 29 minutes into the game. There's still a mountain, so a ways away is tempted to pick.
Yep, Chains of Corruption does come in as Spirit. He's pretty tanky. Just leap strikes his way out. That's going to be the crushing blows. And oh my god, Rock's all knocked up with the Glacial Fissure. Key in trouble. He's going to go down, but can they get anything more? Tucson moves himself forward. Doesn't lock down any other kills. Songwon went down so low, but now with 4 members, can they still defend? AP Galio, decent wave clear with the Winds of War, but Linderung down to half health. Wants to get the Hemoplague in there. Good spread by the Afreeca Freecs, but there's an opportunity. Moves forward. Tides of Blood not enough. And Rox, if they keep doing nothing, this is a problem. He just dies. Can't even pull in time. And the inhibitor's going to be taken. One lonely caster creep here, so not going to be able to get anything more. The Afreeca Freecs move back, wanting to find the Baron. 40 seconds to go until that one comes back up. Linderung will be there with a teleport.
And siege defense rules no longer apply when you're against double AD carry, a ranged top laner, and a Jax with Trinity Force. The Braum is just there to provide as much coverage as possible. And what looks like, okay, Galio will wave clear and the enemy team will have to back. No, they do so much damage so quickly with 2 Infernals and this very high turret damage team. The kills come through, so does the inhibitor. Again, just feels like we're waiting for Afreeca to ice the game.
Yeah. Got Adaptive Helm coming in for Spirit, as well as a Chain Vest. He's feeling like more and more of a tank as this game goes on. 2, 1, and 3. I feel like the Jax pick was just genius.
4,000 gold ahead, and he doesn't even have a buttload of kills to show for it.
Yeah, even in money with his top laner.
He's Flame Horizon from the jungle.
Do we have to call that a Spirit Horizon now? Like,
No.
I feel like we have to, because it's like, it's not even...
Look, if
it's
anyone's
jungle
getting
camps.
a damn Horizon, it's Teddy, all right?
Okay. What is the Teddy Horizon? You need to be 700 creeps ahead?
This needs to be adorable.
Alright, Kuro, with package in hand, pretty happy to play super far up here on this bottom side. Teleport is at the ready. If anyone wants to go for a Baron, Freecs are A-okay. And you're talking about just waiting for Afreeca to ice the game. There's not a lot you can really complain about here. They're doing everything right. It's just a little bit hard to really get in there. The inhibitor taken down. This Baron should be for free as Songwan wants to come in and try and get a steal. But he's going to get turned on. Spirit makes his way back, and that's the teleport from Kuro. Just so elementary. Everything. It just feels like the textbook is being demonstrated to us so nicely, but here's the last-ditch effort. We got Hemoplague coming down. Pull comes in from Linderung, gets all of his health back, but now the beginning of the Wombo combo is over. That flag and drag was not the direction Songwon wanted to go. He just took it all the way to the death chamber as Key. One more auto, it's a Mystic shot, and he's going to get locked down. Unbreakable will breaks, and Linderung will follow. the Zhonyas. He looks great, but he also looks dead. And the Afreeca Freecs found their window. They'll be able to use this Baron to most likely end the game if they can find a minion wave.
Yeah, the minion wave's a little bit far away, but it should be the end of the game, Atlas, you would imagine. We're not that late, only 32 minutes, so outside chance we see some respawns and some heavy wave clear from Sangyu and Lava, and Afreeca agree because they just go for the tutorial victory.
Yep. Got to get everything if you're going to win this game so incredibly hard and do everything right. You may as well take every single structure as well. Couple of tanky members still here, a little bit of wave clear, but against these Baroned up minions, it's pretty difficult.
And Afreeca have seen this movie before.
Yeah,
will not be dying under the enemy Nexus turret or failing to finish the game. They lived this life already, Atlas.
They did. I feel like they didn't necessarily need to be as scared as against KSV, but I do like the idea that they're paying respect. They just wanted to take another dragon, more objectives.
It reminds me of Longjure's MVP in spring season last year, where the MVP coach was saying if you had flashed in, then you could have finished the game. So the team said that every time they ended the game and had flash up, everyone would flash just to make sure. You have to set a precedent, you know?
Yeah, I like it. And if you've got it, you may as well use it, right? If you're about to win the game, get everything on cooldown. That makes sense.
That's how I approach every solo queue game.
Yeah.
If I see a surrender vote, you best believe I'm flashing.
I most likely won't have my flash because I'm part of the reason why the surrender vote came in, you know? It's flashing away from inevitable death.
There's some sick items on the Rift. For the side of Afreeca this time.
Yeah.
The escape items, the tanky items are there for Keen, but he's got a Void Self now, so he's a threat himself.
Oh,
Spirit's able to tell his team that he's a
terrifying.
tank.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, look at my items.
I'm basically Galio. But I stun instead of taunt. It's perfect. And he's also a gargoyle. Amazing. Void Staff is in there, like you said. Kramer and Kuro doing a hell of a lot of damage. Now there's just not a lot of protection for this base for the Rocks Tigers. They're wondering where it went all wrong, and to be honest, I don't know whether I can actually tell you as Chains of Corruption come in, but oh my god, Key! Unbreakable Will does absolutely nothing! And now the Nexus just melts. You can see the focus. No one's messing around.